Good evening, and we are excited to share the evening with you tonight. So first off, I always like to acknowledge the fact that you are tuning in. Kudos to you. Congratulations, and we know that it takes some leaders to really tune in, and by leaders I mean just like courage to ask yourself, hey, why not? Why not check it out? So we'd like to acknowledge that fact, and we're excited to share the evening with you.
Absolutely. And more excited to, make this a low-key call. I know that there are lots of ways that we can jazz this up and make it super exciting, but our number one objective is to keep this as real as possible with you guys.
Right. And, I first off, we definitely want to introduce ourselves. So I'm Stef, and this is my
charming, handsome, keep filling the blanks in.
Blank husband. We are actually, he mentioned our new dig, and we actually just made a move to Houston.
H-Town?
Yeah,
what?
So that's actually where I'm originally from. And we have been moving around for the past few years. And so we really are excited to begin a new chapter here in the Houston area and get to know a lot of the people here. So we're excited for that. Now, you were going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the things that I want to ask you, and well, first off, going back to what Ray was saying, that, keeping it low key, and we definitely like to keep these meetings very casual because we're just regular everyday people, and this is how we've pretty much build our business in a very real, humanized, relationship building way. And that comes with having calls like this.
Absolutely. And we're going to be completely honest with you guys. When we first got started, we had this misconception, that it was because it was a business that we'd have to be in suit and tie and, go and talk all proper. And, over the years, we've learned that this is just such a low-key business. It's all about just being yourself, and growing as quickly and fast as you can, and
Right.
just keeping it real, and sharing what's going on in our lives. And, tonight, what we love about this business and how it's helped us. And hopefully throughout this call, something will trigger within you. Something that we say will resonate in your heart. It'll resonate in your mind. It'll resonate in your soul. And you'll just get that feeling, that tingly feeling. And by the end, you're just going to say, you know what? This is exactly what I was looking for, and I had no idea it existed.
And it's funny, how you ended it that way, because I always like to say that coaching is the one thing I never knew I wanted to be. And if you looked at the details in the group, in the event page at all, I mentioned how I knew exactly what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to provide contribution in regards to the details. I knew that I wanted to provide contribution. I wanted to help people, but I never knew an opportunity like this existed. And, saying yes has truly become one of the best things that I've done and what we've done as a couple. And that's exactly what we're going to share with you tonight. So
not only did we do it as a couple, but we also did it in our 20s and 30s. Steph is in her late 20s, but when she got started, she was fresh out of college. She was 22
Right.
years old.
I was only 22.
22 years old. And, when I got started, I was 26, and now I'm 33. So, it's so weird how this opportunity worked out perfectly for that demographic. So if you're on this call and you're in your 20s and you're in your 30s and you're possibly you are in a relationship, like, you are the perfect demographic for this business.
Or young professional, young parents, all of that. This is the perfect call for you and the perfect opportunity for you. And it's something that we say from a personal sense, because it has really made a huge impact in our lives. And we're just two regular people. Like Ray said, when I started, it was simply because I said yes to my health. And so, some of you're tuning into this call and you're here because you know that there's some health gaps that you can fill. You're like, you know what? I know that I can feel better. I know that, dropping some weight will help me be healthier. And you're like, I can fill some of those health gaps. Or you're here because you can fill some financial gaps, right? Or you're here because you want to be more present with your family, and you're like, hey, why not check this opportunity out? First off, I want you to know that it really doesn't take a specific certification or person in regards to skill set to becoming a coach. All it takes is to have a coachable spirit and an open mind, and the desire to grow. Alrighty. When I first started, I was fresh out of college. I actually opted out of every single business course. I didn't even take gym in high school. I didn't have a specific fitness certification. I didn't become a coach because I was fit, because I had all the answers when it came to nutrition. I became fit. I started learning more about nutrition because I became a coach. So what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? I decided to be a coach first, and then I grew into the role. And that's exactly what, I personally think that's what makes the best coaches.
So what did come first?
The egg.
You lost me there. I want to touch up on something that you mentioned, though, because you said that, some of the people on this call may be interested in this because they have some health gaps,
right,
or because they have some financial gaps, or because maybe they have some gaps in their relationship. And for me, guys, I had gaps in all of them. I had a very, very good job. I don't want to toot my own horn, toot toot. But I was on top of my game. I had two houses, I had 3 cars, but I didn't really like my job, and I didn't like the people I was working with, and I for sure, 100% for sure, did not like the way that I looked in the mirror. So although I had the money, I was missing these other things. And when I saw this opportunity, I really had one question that I asked myself, like, is there a way to get it all? Is there a way to get it all? And I knew that there was, because I had seen people that had it all. And I wanted to know, like, what is my opportunity? I realized that I couldn't do what a lot of what they were doing, because I didn't have their education, or maybe, not maybe, like for sure, I didn't grow up in the families that they grew up in. I didn't have anything handed to me. When my father passed away when I was 18 years old, he didn't leave me with much. A lot of mentorship, and I'm grateful for that. But what he did leave me with was the desire to ask that question. Where can I have it all? And what will it take? And what does it look like? And, little did I know that this opportunity with Beachbody, it would allow me to have it all. In the 6 years that we've been doing this, my health is definitely improved, and my relationships have definitely improved. Not just with the people that I work with, our coaches on our team, but with my family members, with my long lost friends, and my finances have improved. We've been able to go on numerous trips. We've been able to.
Right. Well, before we dive into that, I really want to go into how we got started.
Let's do that.
Right. That's what I want to do. And so, how we got started, it was through Ray. And actually, our story, our relationship is so intertwined. I tell people we don't have kids, but Beachbody is pretty much our kid, right? Because just how it happened. Ray, and he can elaborate a little bit more, but he's the one that he was up one night, right? He wasn't liking what he saw in the marriage, just as he mentioned, and he saw the P90X infomercial.
You know what? It was this time of the year. I remember, because it was tax return season. And here's the thing, guys. I got my tax return, and I knew I needed a change, and I wanted a challenge. So I ordered 2 things. Okay? Can you guess what they were? You'll never be able to guess what they were. One of them was P90X when it first came out in 2007, and the other one was Rosetta Stone, so I could learn how to speak Spanish. Only one of them worked. I'm still struggling to speak Spanish, but it was this time of year, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and I remember I had the program, and it took me 3 times to get through it. 3 times, it was such a challenge.
And so he went through the program, right? He had just randomly called an infomercial. He went through the program, and get this, back then people didn't know. People were still calling it PX90, right? That's what I called it when I saw him, right? And when we met, we actually just had a brief encounter, and Facebook had just recently been released, and it was the Facebook. And so after our brief encounter, there was a discrepancy in his name, right?
We won't get into that.
But I looked up, I'm like, what is his name? Let's search for him on the Facebook. I logged onto the Facebook with my friends, and there were his P90X after pictures. He had just dropped, 35 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
He had dropped 35 pounds. He was nicely cut and trimmed. And I saw those pictures because he put himself out there, and it's like, hey, boom, this thing worked, right? And so needless to say, he had my attention, right? Then that's how our relationship kind of stemmed. And then we got reconnected. We started to grow our relationship. Someone reached out to him saying, hey, there's a coaching opportunity. You got results. People are asking you what you're doing. Did you know that you can turn your results into a business? Did you know that you can turn your health into a business with the company called Beachbody, the one that fabricates Insanity and P90X? Did you know that? And so he looked into it, and he said, all right.
And I didn't have to look into it, very deep, because I was already telling everybody about the programs. I mean, I saw so many people that wanted to get in shape and wanted to get ripped, and they weren't getting half the results that I got in 3 months at home. So I was like, come on, guys, let me share with you what worked with me.
Right. So he said yes to the opportunity. A new workout program was coming out. You might have heard of it. It's a little workout program called Insanity, right? And he's like, hey, you know what? This new program is coming out. I don't really know too much about it, but I know that it's intense, and you might want to bring a trash can with you to throw up in, right? Mm-hmm. So I personally took that as a challenge. I'm like, I'm going to prove you that I'm not going to throw up, So I said yes. And the same day, remember, I had just graduated from college. So the same day I started my first job as a teacher was the first day I pushed play to Insanity. And that's when our relationship really started getting more serious, when we were working out together. We started working on our health and in our personal confidence. Well, I know that I had a lot of confidence gaps to fill. I was overweight as a kid. I was very insecure. I was shy. And here I was beginning a new chapter in my life, and I lacked that confidence, right? And so for me, diving into those first 60 days of this program was a huge confidence booster, and really reaching that next level for myself, in my health, in my confidence, in my mindset, and everything. Because I grew on a personal level, then we were able to mend and create a healthier, stronger relationship, because we were both investing in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided, we're like, hey, I'll keep working on me for you, and you keep working on you for me. And I think that goes on, that is something, that's a powerful phrase to say, not just in a husband-wife relationship, but just in any relationship, right? With your family, with your kids. I'll work hard on me for you.
Yeah, and me, granted, it didn't start as a husband and wife relationship. This was like boyfriend, girlfriend. We're still exploring each other's boundaries, and here we are pressing play to Insanity, and both of us were cussing out Sean T at the same time, and we're like, hey, you're pretty cool, and you're pretty cool, and after 60 days, we're like, hey, you're pretty hot, and like you're pretty hot too, and we're kind of hot together. I remember when we finished the program, we went back to a college party, and like people were following our story. It was so crazy. We were like local celebrities. They were like, "You're the insanity couple. Show me your abs." And I'm
it really
like,
was. It was
give me
so
another
awkward.
drink first.
But I have a little picture here, and you'll see it's in the center. This was actually us. And we like to share this before after. In the center picture is he ended up dropping close to 40 pounds, and I dropped a little over 30 pounds. And our weight fluctuates, but what we've been able to gain in regards to health and energy, like I look at this girl, like I was so lost on so many different levels. But I just asked myself, like, what if I continued those habits? Where would I be now? And this was 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago. And I look at the girl in the bottom, that's 5 years later. And the decisions that you make today, well, your future self will thank you for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, it's super important that we shared that story before we really start getting into some of your questions on the business end, because those are intangibles that we got with this opportunity that we were lacking with what we were doing before. Like what we were doing before, we got a paycheck, but we were missing out on these things. Like we grew, our confidence grew. We became more comfortable in our own skin. We became fit and healthy. We grew mentally, spiritually, physically. We are able to mentor people and learn so much about, living financially responsible, to where we truly are, we truly feel empowered. We didn't get all of this in our college education. It wasn't until we went through this journey, with Beachbody. So, right now we want to make the transition into, some of the common questions and misconceptions, that we get a lot.
Well, actually, before we dive into that, I want to tell you where we are now. So that's how we got started. Where are we now? Well, when I first started, I was a full-time bilingual teacher, and Ray, his degree was in construction management. Mm-hmm. And so he left his job to do this full-time, and I was working full-time, right? We had that income as he was building this business. I was working as a full-time teacher. 3 years into that job, I started to dread Sundays. Right, that spine crawled, the chill crawled up my spine, where I didn't want Monday to come. It was a job, the office politics. I really started feeling like my spirit was being drained.
I remember sometimes she would come home and just start bawling. Like she would just start crying, just out of.
Well, that last year I was teaching, like I called him. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with it. Right, I'm done. And so that was a year that we took that leap of faith and saying, you know what, this business is real, and we can create a lifestyle with it. We can create income with it by continuously working on ourselves and our health and motivating others to do that. And we had seen tons of success stories, people hitting 6 figures, people reaching the $1 million, range in this business. And we asked ourselves, it boils down to what your goals are. And at the time when we decided to both go full time, our goals were to have time freedom and to be able to appreciate our youth, right? We don't have kids. I was not okay with getting home at 10 p.m. sometimes from work. We wanted to spend more time together and nurture our relationship and cater to our family. So we are both now full-time Beachbody coaches, and pretty much it boils down to we work out, we share our journey online, we invite others to learn about it, and encourage and train you to teach you how to do the same thing.
Absolutely. So when we saw this opportunity, I wish that I could say that we jumped in that first year, we just blew it out of the water.
We didn't.
We didn't. We didn't. We didn't know what we were doing, and we were still growing as individuals. my dad, he dropped out of middle school in the 7th grade, to go and help his parents, work on the fields. My mom, she had, she got her GED, and I was the first one in my family to go to college.
Right. So we still had a lot of personal growth to go through. Like my parents both only have a 2nd grade education. My first language is Spanish, and I still had so many doubts and disbeliefs. Like I saw other people in this business. I'm like, well, yeah, but you were fed through a silver spoon. That was the attitude that I had, and it was really because I was unsure that I could do it. Mm-hmm. And I've come to learn that one of the greatest things that I've gotten out of this business, and we personally gotten, is that growth, is the opportunity to say, hey, I can do this. Why not me? Why not now? And if they can do it, I can do it too.
And so when we got started with this business, guys, and we say it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to start a business. That's what it is. And when we got started, like, we had a frame of what business meant. You have to take out a loan, and you got to get a building, and you got to get rent, and you got to dress up in a suit, and all these things. And as we have grown, that first year we were kind of, just figuring out what it was. The second year our income doubled. And the third year we're kind of, had a little bit more confidence. That third year our income doubled. The fourth year, and it was kind of like the same thing. We grew and we grew and we grew. What we realized, guys, is that when social media came out, when the Facebook and Instagram came out, that really changed the way that business is done. And our generation, our era, like, that's what we're good at. Like, we know social media, and like, we take it for granted. We're like, well, yeah, I know how to do Facebook, or yeah, I know how to do Instagram, or yeah, I've sent out some tweets. I'm telling you right now, there's some Fortune 500 companies, vice presidents and presidents of the company, more than they do, and it's funny because it's super leverageable in this business.
Right. And the reason why he's pointing that out is because we've built, I want to say 90, if not 99% of our business through social media. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll say that again. We've built our business about 90 to 99.9% on social media, meaning on Facebook, on Instagram, on now Snapchat. Mm-hmm. That's how we build our business. And we build it that way so that we would be able to travel. So we can really, like I say, my office is in my backpack. Why? Because my laptop is there and my cell phone is in the side pocket, if not in my hand.
And I share that, guys. I share that because oftentimes we look at an opportunity, or we look at a business, and we start qualifying ourselves. We're like, well, I don't have my MBA. I don't have my master's. I don't have this. I don't have this certification. I don't have this. I'm telling you, if you have a Facebook account, or if you have an Instagram account, you're qualified. You're good to go. Yeah. You're good to go. We can show you the rest.
Right. And so just to break things down again, this is just to give you a general idea of what the business is and how we build it. Again, we build it on social media. And there's 3 elements that we call the 3 vital behaviors in coaching. And all that is, this is a very simple business, right? It's very simple, right? I'm not going to say it's easy to do and you're going to, get money fast. I'm not saying that, but I will say it's simple. The more simple that you build your business, the more success that you'll see. And it boils down to 3 things. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1, you're inviting. Just like you were invited to join me on this event page. You're either getting invited to learn about the opportunity, or you're getting invited to join what we call a challenge group, or maybe a 3-day cleanse. You're getting invited to learn more about what we do, the products that we use, to join us in some kind of way, right? There's 3 types of inviting on social media: invite for the opportunity, invite for the products.
Yeah, and so in the inviting, guys, if you've ever asked somebody to join you for a movie, hey, come and check out this movie. It's pretty awesome. Or, hey, you've invited somebody to go and check out a new restaurant, because it's got great food. Hey, come and join me. you've already developed a skill set. You've done it already. That's what we're talking about inviting. You want to bring people on board to experience something that you're experiencing.
Right, and the thing is, this happens so naturally and organically. Like, people post gym pictures of themselves all the time. Like, hey, why not build a business that way, right? If you're working out, you're getting healthier, you share your journey. That's all really inviting it. So it's a very organic process where you're doing it already and you're just telling people what you're doing, and people start becoming interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second vital behavior is what we call be a product of the product. It's and this is, of course, this goes without saying. You have to come from a genuine place of belief. We want you to be able to experience the products, experience the change. I can tell you that every single coach on our team has experienced the products, and every single coach on our team is a coach because they genuinely believe in the products and they have made a huge impact in them, either mentally, emotionally, or physically, or maybe all three. And they're like, wow, I've been looking for something that works for me, and I found it, and I feel compelled to pay it forward and share it with others. So that comes with being a proof of the product.
And this is the easiest part, guys. This is the easiest part because our stuff works. I mean, we do not play games with our programs. This isn't Mickey Mouse stuff. We hire the best of the best. The people that the pros are going to, they're on our team helping us develop these programs. Our trainers, they're getting paid right now, tons and tons of money by celebrities to train them. That's who you're getting. Imagine if you had the same trainer as Ashton Kutcher or you had the same trainer as Pink. Well, guess what? You do. Those guys are the ones that are leading our program. And here's something I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not an amateur when it comes to working out. Like, I've been working out since middle school, 7th grade. I've done powerlifting.
He was born with a dumbbell in hand.
Yeah, I've done powerlifting. I've done wrestling. I've played, varsity football. I've done Krav Maga. We've done triathlons. We got married after running an Ironman triathlon. I've done. You name it. I've done it. And I'm gonna tell you something straight up. Like, when I want to get into the best shape of my life, I go Beachbody. Why? Because the programs are super structured. They take out all the guesswork. All I got to do is go in there, press play, follow along as best I can, and wipe the sweat off my face, shower up, and do it again the next day, for however long the program is. And some of them are 21 days. Some of them are 60 days. Some of them are 90 days. All I know is that every program that I press play to, I get the best results. And I'm saying that because there have been times where I thought I could do it on my own. There's been times where I thought, hey, you know what? I know what I'm doing. Let me just go out there and do it on my own. And I struggle. I flop like a fish out of water. So being a proof of the product, that's the easy part. That's the fun part. You're walking away and you're just like, I'm hot. I deserve to get paid. I'm hot.
Yeah, and you're pretty much your own walking, talking, real life billboard. And so, I get it all the time. Stef, well, how do you stay so motivated? How do you get inspired? I was like, well, this is my business. This is my business. And what inspires me is motivating people like Kimberly, who I just met online. And she's like, all right, I want to learn about it. And that motivates me. That puts healthy weight on my shoulders to say, all right, I have to keep doing this. And the same thing with Elizabeth. We just met recently and she's like, all right, I want to learn more about this cleanse that you're doing. I'm like, all right, I need to hurry up and get this burger out of the way so I can do the cleanse. That's what keeps me motivated, inspired to keep moving forward and to keep growing on a health and physical state.
What trips me out? She had 100 likes on that burger. 100 likes. Are you kidding me? 100.
Hey, but I'm glad that he pointed that out, because one of the beautiful things about this business is that you have to keep it real. The more real and transparent that you are about your journey and your growth, the more people are going to connect with you. If you're like, all right, I'm always perfect, I'm always push and play, and I always just drink my shake and eat my salad, then people are gonna hate you. They're like, man, you're not a real person, you know? And it's gonna become discouraging to people. So I'm glad that he pointed that out, because you have to keep it real. You have to be genuine and just be yourself, be transparent, and the more people are gonna get you and connect with you and trust you furthermore.
Absolutely.
So that's being a proof of the product. And as you can tell, like, we spend a lot of time because it is a very vital part of the journey. And then lastly, the third vital behavior is personal development. And that's where, I shared it previously, how I lack confidence in a lot of different aspects for different things that happened in my life. Like I was overweight. I was very shy. I was insecure. I came from a broken home. My dad was an alcoholic. So there was a lot of emotional and verbal abuse in that household. And I doubted myself for so many different reasons. And so diving into personal development made such a huge impact in my life. And that is one of the beautiful things about coaching, is that, like, this guy can go through like 5 books in a week if he wanted to. We personally have gone through a plethora of books, and that's definitely what we're going to start introducing to you as well. And one of the things that we highly value within our team, where we give you different recommendations based on what you need growth in or what you would like to grow in. And that's part of the process. I'd like to say that this is a personal development business with the best fitness products available.
Absolutely. And I want to touch up on personal development, guys, because this really is the cornerstone of our business. And I'm going to tell you why. Right now, you're listening in on this call, and stuff is going on in your head right now. I can see Elizabeth, I can see Yvette, I can see Kimberly, I can see y'all guys processing this information. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what's going on in your head. I mean, and to be honest, you probably don't know what's going on in your head either. It's just a bunch of stuff. And here's the thing, guys. I study this a lot. Steph, she was tooting my horn earlier. Toot. And she says that I'm huge on mindset. I'm throw something at you guys. But here it is. Your mind right here. Everybody, if you could just point right here to your head, right here, to just right here. Your mind right here. This is your computer. Okay, just like your cell phone has a computer, and just like your TV has a computer, and just like your computer has, a little CPU in it, that's your computer right here. And this is how you process everything. So what you've seen in the past, what you've experienced in the past, if you've had any kind of broken relationships, if you saw your parents struggle financially in the past, if you've struggled financially in the past, maybe you have some debt that's caused you stress, that is all put into your processing unit right here. And the reason why personal development is so important is because it is going to start giving you new material to process. It's going to show you new ways to look at things. And when you come across these barriers, when you come across these obstacles, when you come across something that you don't know, because we don't know everything, right? We don't know everything. And when you come across it, your mind has already been trained a certain way. It's kind of like, I'm gonna try to put this very, very simply. It's kind of like that pair of shoes that you own. You have a pair of shoes and you got your own little footprint in there, and maybe you want to borrow a friend's pairs of shoes, right? You want to borrow their shoes, but they're not as comfortable because their shoes already have their footprint in them. It's already ingrained. So we have some ideas and we have some concepts and we have some things that we can share with you that make a lot of sense to us because we have gone in and kind of replaned our shoes. We've said, okay, you know what? We want a fresh start. We want new ideas. We want new concepts. So that's the power of personal development. What we give you, what we want to show with you is super powerful. It is ultra powerful. It will change your life. Hands down, I have no doubt about it. And the only way that it will, though, is if you have room to accept it, if you have room to let it kind of marinate, you have room to let it grow, and you don't automatically reject it because it goes against something that you already believe because of your past. And that's the power of personal development. So that's my 2 cents on it. I know as a fact, whenever I get in a rut, I open up a book. I open up something that's going to allow me to accept new ideas, and then we get to the next level.
Right. And it really helps you grow, whether it be through text or through audio. I know we're all different learners. In the very beginning, I had a very hectic schedule. I was going to work, and we were building this business, and I was doing tons of different things. So what worked for me was audios. Right? Like, I was a very well-intentional book reader, meaning I well-intended to read that book, and it stood in my nightstand for a while, right? So I had to work with where I was and grow from there. And I had a long commute. So I would play audios in the car, again, to just stretch me a little bit more and start growing into that role as a coach. And so that's what we want you to experience. And that is really something that we value the most in our team, that relationship building, getting to know you a little bit more, seeing what your goals are, and being able to put the right material and the right goals to be able to stretch you to where you want to grow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sounds good?
Yeah. And those 3 things, guys, right there, inviting, being a product of the product, and committing to personal development, committing to, hey, you know what, I want to expand my mind. I want to believe that I can do this. And if you can share with me the material that's going to allow me to believe that I can do this, then I'll commit to it because I want to. If you guys can say yes, yes, and yes to those 3 things, you could be very successful with this business.
Right. So we want to ask you now in the closing, and thank you so much for tuning in again, and kudos to you for the fact that you are tuning in and spending your evening here. It says a lot about you and how much you want to grow. And so just to wrap things up, we want to ask you to, just have an open mind. That was one of the things that I said, there's no commitment, just an open mind and heart. And that's exactly what we ask of you right now, as you start thinking like, man, can this really work for me? And, going back to the fact that this is a business, and because it is a business, it'll be your business, and you'll be able to grow it in a way that you want, right? With around the life that you live right now, you might have a busy schedule, and you're thinking, well, how will I be able to fit this in? And I think it boils down to, well, where would I like for it to take me? Do I want to spend more time with my family? Do I want to spend more time with my kids? Do I want to spend more time with, my husband, my family, and be able to cater to them more? Okay, that's what I want. Then let me set some goals and let me allocate some time around my schedule to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I once heard one of our top coaches, she's like, if you knew that if you stuck to this business opportunity in coaching and doing those 3 vital behaviors, and you knew that you can take this business to a 6-figure income, and all you had to do every day for a year is, these 3 things for 30 minutes, like, would you make the time to put in that effort, to make it happen? Would you stick to it for a year if you knew that a year from now, a 6-figure income was waiting for you by just 30 minutes a day, stretching yourself a little bit every day? Would you do it? And will it be worth it? And I think it boils down to, maybe it's not a 6-figure income for you. Maybe you have specific goals, like, I want to be present in my kid's life. Maybe it's like, I want to be present in my family's life. You think of whatever that goal is, and you say that goal is waiting for me a year from now, and all I have to do is specific things for 30 minutes every day. Can I do them? Will I be dedicated to do them? And will it be worth it for me and what my life goals are right now?
Absolutely. And we don't know your lives, guys. We don't know what you're going through. I will tell you this. We just got back from a trip to Jamaica and to the Bahamas. And there was a young woman on this trip with us, 25 years old, going to school in Chicago. Pretty safe bet, right? You're going and getting your education, right? Pretty safe bet. Here's the thing, guys. She almost didn't make the trip because her spring break got canceled. Why did her spring break get canceled? Because the school ran out of funding and it's going to close down. So they had to cut their spring break just so they could finish this semester. So life seems to give us these sure things, these sure bets, maybe really good job, hey, you know what, I'm very comfortable here. Or maybe, hey, I'm going after a college education, that's a sure bet. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've been around the block for a bit, I've been beat up by life, and there aren't any sure things. There aren't any sure things. What you get with this business outside of what we mentioned, and also developing a relationship with other women, empowering one another, is you get something that cannot be taken away from you. This will be yours. This will be yours on the day that you sign up. It'll be yours a year from now. It'll be yours 5 years from now. It'll be yours 10 years from now. It'll be yours until you get sick and tired of being your own boss. And I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so there are no sure things in life. There are no sure bets in life. This isn't one of those things where it's a lucky lottery ticket that you scratch off and you win. These 3 things that we shared with you, those are the things that it takes. It's 3 things, and like Steph said, it's simple, but we won't promise you that it's easy. Won't promise you that it's easy. What we will promise you is that we will walk beside you every step of the way. Even when you think that we're not there, we are there. Even when you have gone down to your last little splinter of hope, we will still be there, kindling the fire, trying to get it lit up again. We love nothing more than to see young women such as yourself, and all the other people on this call. We love nothing more than to see when you get it, to see when you have that second where you say, you know what, I got this. You know what, I got this. I'm in control. I'm in the driver's seat, and it's such an unbelievable feeling. And if you stick with us long enough, when you say yes and say, hey, you know what, sign me up, I'm ready to go, you'll get there. You will get there. And if you commit to those days, to those 3 things, you'll get there a lot sooner than you think.
Right. So we invite you to say, why not me? Why not now? What's the worst thing that can happen? You can get in the best shape of your life. Mm-hmm. That's the worst thing that can happen. And we speak this from personal experience where we are. I started off with 22. I'm 28 now. I feel younger than I was then. I feel more energetic, and
I felt younger when I shaved my beard off.
But once again, we're glad that we were excited to be able to share our evening with you. We ask you and invite you, why, to ask yourself, why not you? Why not now? And just say, hey, I want to move forward, and we'll take you every step in the way from step 1 to step 5 years from now.
Absolutely. And you've got one heck of a leader here. She's a fighter, and she protects the crew that she rolls with. I'll tell you that.
All right, ladies, you have a wonderful evening. I'll check in with you, see what questions you have, what I can get answered for you, and we'll move forward from there. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and see you later. Both Elizabeth, Kimberly, and Miss Yvette Cardoso. Have a good night.